The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, the Bahamas granting thousands of new citizenships and passports to Haitians. It's what's trending this week, a story that has many of you angry tonight. In fact, many of you are so angry, you have written to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio asking him to step in. We put the question to Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell tonight. Also tonight, you've seen the new Independence gear, or have you seen it? It's with the image of Sir Lyndon Pindling on it. It has the father of the nation wearing gold teeth, a diamond stud, and rope chains. Just hood action, just totally hood. Well, the question tonight, who authorized it and how far is too far? Also, have you seen or heard the voice notes purporting to be that of Fred Mitchell pushing for LGBT rights in the Bahamas? Well, it's AI, according to Mitchell. This week, he threatened if those responsible don't stop, he will then reveal the deck of cards of who in politics is really in the LGBT community. And also tonight, the PLP says its candidates committee is set to meet real soon to determine who will get the nod. Here's a question for you tonight. How has your member of parliament performed this term? It's all straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, following an uptick of what chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Fred Mitchell, claims is destabilizing rhetoric, lies that have the potential to destroy the country's reputation abroad, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is now urging Bahamians not to fall prey to fabricated tales about the country's stance on immigration or international relations. There are issues that have had, or these issues rather, have played a lot and had a lot of attention this week alone, with many people feeling uncertain. We get this story from Delana Roca, and then we come back.
Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell is pushing back hard, responding to what could be called a coordinated and dangerous campaign to spread lies about the Bahamas' immigration system and foreign policy. His remarks come in direct response to a letter sent to United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio by a group calling themselves the Concerned Citizens of the Bahamas. In that letter, the group accuses the Davis administration of aiding illegal migration, failing to stop arms trafficking, and compromising national security. But Mitchell is having none of it, calling the claims false, inflammatory, and harmful to the country's international reputation.
You have this letter that's supposedly written to Marco Rubio about the procedures in our country in terms of security and immigration. Everything in it is a total and absolute falsity. Lies, lies, lies. But again, it's getting currency around the country. And what is worse is you're addressing a foreign official who has the power of life or death over this country. And you are using a letter not just for the politics of today, but which will damage the country far into the future.
Mitchell also addressed allegations the administration is weaponizing citizenship.
What is nonsense is to say that there are 300,000 applications for citizenship in the Bahamas. And it's nonsense to say that the Bahamas government has some design on a particular nationality to be given citizenship of the Bahamas. Those statements are false, it's nonsense, and they tend to destabilize.
Additionally, the chairman is debunking false claims that the Bahamas is pulling out of CARICOM.
The Office of the Prime Minister issued a statement saying this is nonsense, it's foolishness. We would have left it at that, until the Secretary General of CARICOM sends us a note and says, what is this? Is this true and correct? And we had to say, it's not true and correct. That's why we issued the statement. the Bahamas government would not make such an important decision about withdrawing from CARICOM without consulting the Bahamian people, first of all, and without the Prime Minister of the country speaking from his mouth to our ears to say we've withdrawn. Certainly not by putting some bad grammar on social media.
The PLP chairman is now urging citizens to be vigilant, fact-check information, and resist what he says are deliberate attempts to destabilize the country's progress. Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it, gentlemen. Of course, you saw in that story with Delano Roca, Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell is saying, listen, let's address some stuff and let's make sense in this political season. One, don't believe the rhetoric. Two, do not take the steps that is political in a political season, but that can have lasting impact and damage. You all may have seen a letter that was written and sent to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, urging him to basically come see about the Bahamas' sovereignty, that we are overrun by Haitians, we are giving out basically free citizenships, and all the rest of it. Your thoughts, well, who knows? It's not, I didn't see any, in fact, I saw the letter. It was sent, Delano Roca. Of course, you saw on the story there. He has the letter. He included it in his report. He also sent me a copy of it. It was just sort of broadly written as to say, concerned citizens of the Bahamas. But your thoughts about this? I mean, your thoughts about how all of this is playing out, particularly now as we really enter the political season. Let me introduce my panelists. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. My contributors, Leslie Miller and Garth Roseborough.
Good afternoon, Shanique. Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Good night to everyone. Happy 4th of July to all those people who are watching throughout North America and those that work here in the Bahamas. Hello to the team on our chat group, Shanique Miller. I met one of my cousins online, Brian Taylor. Shout out to him. Thank you for watching.
Hey, listen, by the way, thank you, Garth. I want to say a big hello to the live stream audience. They have their own show every night. In the live stream. Thank you so much, BTH live stream viewers. I know you all love to slap up, you like to hate, but a lot of you still show up and you support. I love that. Have your opinions, excellent. And again, happy 4th to all of the United States citizens who are living here in the Bahamas, those watching abroad. We appreciate you as well. Happy 4th. Continue to enjoy your holiday as you tune in and then go back to your fun activities at 9 o'clock.
Well, I got to thank you too, Shanique, for telling me about the coconut water. So I got a gallon of that from my neighbor, Mr. Cecil Green. So thank you to him. And I feel much better than I did yesterday. Very good. So I just want to encourage all Bahamians, all those who are visiting here on our shores. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink some of our coconut water. It's good for you. And it's a pleasure to be back here tonight.
Gentlemen, I put a question out on the table. You all saw the story there with Delano Roca. We know that this is the political season. A lot happens. It's not synonymous with the Bahamas, too. We watched what played out in the United States just last year when we saw any manner of things. And AI has a real role now in public life, in politics, and elections. So we see what's been happening, but we'll get to that further down. We're talking now about a real legitimate concern by Bahamians that tens of thousands, well, thousands of Haitians are gaining new citizenships, passports, all done by this administration. It's something that's been trending widely. People have sent it to me several times. And as you saw this evening, Delano Roca spoke with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fred Mitchell, on the very issue. And of course, his response was, it's utter nonsense. But your thoughts about what you're hearing, what's now circulating, the letter that was sent to Marco Rubio, and just all of this?
Well, the immigration conversation is going to be a very defining one, especially when it comes now to this upcoming election. This may actually be that which breaks or makes any political party in terms of how we position ourselves in terms of immigration. The Progressive Liberal Party is now the government of the Bahamas. But let's really take a look at immigration, Shanique Miller. Immigration situations are not new to the Bahamas. These people have been coming here for decades. They're still coming here. Yes, I agree, they're still coming. But as they keep on coming, we're very quick to blame any government that's in power, as opposed to anyone saying to us, what are the facts, and come up with a plan with a solution. We continue to throw stones. We continue to follow the rhetoric of North America in making immigration that which everyone wants to now be focused on, as the winning conversation in terms of victory for the upcoming election, like I said earlier. And so what I am saying to you, until we all get the facts, as you've rightly said, Shanique Miller, let's just be careful and cautious as to how we speak about immigration matters, because it actually is very damaging, not only to us as a nation with sovereignty, but also to our tourist industry.
You know, I find it hard to believe that Bahamians could get online and put out such garbage that you could get a citizenship passport for $10,000 sold in the Bahamas. There's a process. As a former member of cabinet, every single one of those applications goes through cabinet with a committee that filters those and makes sure that the person who you see in the newspaper.
So Leslie, and I'm happy. See, this is a part of the reason of having a Leslie Miller here. His experience, the fact that he's been around the table in the room, meaning cabinet, and so this is excellent. So Leslie, you were saying, even before it even gets to the immigration and all those other levels that's responsible for awarding citizenships and all the other criteria and approvals, you are saying cabinet first looks at this, or somehow cabinet's role is there as well.
Cabinet has the last line of defense against it, because immigration goes and do their job, they do the interviews, etc. The minister would then come with his list. We have people who are eligible to be citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We would go through it. When I was there many times, we objected to many people that shouldn't have had it, because that's why they put in the newspaper, if anyone object to this person being granted Bahamian citizenship. But this innuendo with $10,000 to get a passport in the Bahamas.
It's just over $10,000.
It really gets to the heart and soul of what we are as Bahamians. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, I think most Bahamian people's mind, that we have people here in our country today with Bahamian passport that should have no right to have a Bahamian passport. There's no doubt about that. Okay? And you have to know that there's a racket going on.
We just
that's
caught,
why
just caught two the other day, last week.
We have said over and over on this show that I believe, in my humble opinion, that the government really needs to slow down on these applications for citizenship and perhaps place a 5-year moratorium minimum on granting citizenship to anyone. Haiti would be the biggest one, because there's so many of them here, and the proximity to us is closer than any other country in this region outside of Turks and Caicos.
So gentlemen, here's what's being sent around, and this is widely distributed. Okay. Of course, we know it's, again, a political season. A lot is being said because it's being suggested that certain parties, and in fact, in this instance, the government is trying to posture itself to gain more votes. So here's what's being sent around, and I'll tell you, social media is a powerful tool. And it says, Haitians paying $12,000 Bahamian citizenship package. This comes with passport, voter's card, NIB, and work permit. Allegedly no proof. What do you say to Bahamians who also are spreading around that on a weekly basis, roughly 1,000 Haitians are coming in through the airport from flights directly from Haiti?
Now, what I don't understand, why is it that Bahamas that goes to Haiti, I understand twice a week, I think, Tuesday and Thursday. Do they carry any Bahamians from here to Haiti? Because it's supposed to be a lucrative business. Why would we want to go to Haiti? And those people coming here through the airport, most of them ain't going to go back, not on their own accord. I just question that. I mean, I'm just the pot cake, right? But on behalf of the Bahamian people, the average Bahamian would like to know, why is it that Bahamas that goes there twice a week, bring these people to our shores? Do they go back? Do they say that they go back, have a 2-week stay? What happens to them when they come here? I question that. And I'm very, very concerned as a citizen of my country as to who made that decision to begin with and who monitors them to make sure that they leave this country. We only have one country called the Bahamas, you know, and we are overpopulated now with illegal immigrants in this country. Not only from there, the Cubans, the Filipinos, you name it, they are here. The Dominicans, and they don't leave. Most people who come to the Bahamas die here. This is the greatest thing ever happened in their lives. Why?
They're immigrants from everywhere.
Everywhere.
And Bahamians mainly pay attention to the Haitian population. Well, because they're black, because they're poor, and because they are overwhelmingly many of them. And I guess they have been able to sort of immerse themselves more than any other nationality or ethnicity here into Bahamian culture, and to the point now that it's somewhat blending.
You know,
and
I
so
have a
this
question,
is
young
what's
man.
vexing for Bahamians,
I have a
because they
question,
feel as
young
though
man.
it's a strain. No,
About our culture, because they don't mitigate and go into our culture. That's part of the problem. They are here, but they have their own culture that they bring with them, and they stick with each other. There's no integration, as it should be, between the Haitian population and the Bahamian population. No, let us get that straight. Even the little boys and girls who grew up in school together. And you know, I asked a guy that when I was campaigning this week, and he said, Mr. Willibert, you got to understand one thing, you know, even though we go to school with the kids here in the Bahamas, and we mingle with them and they are our friends, when we go home in our community, all we speak is Creole. So that's why I say there's more of us with Creole than with English, because that's in us, that's built into them. And this question that comes up all the time, should we be giving citizenship to Haitians, knowing that they can't ever say to their country that they have another passport? Because under the Haitian Constitution, apparently it says that you can only be Haitian and you cannot carry another country. I don't know the gist of it. I'm sure Mr. Mitchell, who's well versed in this, can give us a great understanding of it, but I'm very concerned about that. Are they eligible, really eligible, to get a Bahamian passport if their constitution is saying you are always Haitian?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
That bothers me.
I know we don't want to take this too far, but I see that you're very passionate tonight about this topic, Mr. Miller, and rightly so. You're a Bahamian citizen that loves your country. I just wonder, however, Shanique Miller and Leslie Miller and those listening, that we have to separate between the whole idea of immigration issues and that of travel in terms of the airline, the Bahamas Air. Whenever you go into business, you're in business to make money.
Yes.
It is not Bahamas Air's fault that we have the overwhelming amount of Haitians living in this country, many of them that already have passports, many of them already are legally on work permits.
Fair enough.
These people want to return home to visit their family, to take goods home, the same way we go to America, we go to Canada, and they want to come home to visit, and we want to go there to visit them. And so for this particular situation, for Bahamas Air, we say, hey, you did a great job, you found somewhere where we can make some money and make our airline profitable.
You found a nice profitable market.
A nice profitable market. It makes sense to me.
But it should be to the detriment of the Bahamian people.
The detriment happens, sir, when they arrive to the airport. There is a Department of Immigration.
Yes.
Immigration now needs to improve its tracking device, just as they do in the Cayman Islands. Once you land, we ask, when are you leaving? How long are you going to be here? Where are you going to be staying? Who are the 2 or 3 or 4 people that we can call to know exactly your whereabouts?
Right.
And if we cannot find you, we hold them
responsible.
And so
that's
this
true,
is
guys, because when I was a reporter, I went to Jamaica on assignment.
That's
I was asked that same question. And I, obviously on assignment, it was a big, major sort of CARICOM emergency meeting, but I was asked that question.
And so if you have this tracking in place, you'll find out that you'll become even more lucrative as an airline, and of course you'll be able to control your immigration matters much more easily. They're no longer coming just by boats now, they're coming by plane. We do not benefit as a government or as a business from those boats that come in and out of the country. That's private. But once they're coming on Bahamas Air, the airline, we benefit, the nation benefits through the taxes, through the application of visas, and of course if we track them properly, it'll continue to grow.
You're right, because, and I'll tell you, before U.S. Airlines pulled back, American Airlines was one of the airlines flying into Haiti. I'm not sure how many times a week, but every time full. How do I know that? I went to Haiti on assignment during the tenure of Perry Christie for the 200th anniversary of that country. And let me tell you, we flew out of Miami on American Airlines to Haiti and a big major jet, and guess what? It was full. And I imagine, yes, Haitians and Americans.
They have money, and they pay.
Yeah, it was full.
Fair enough.
And not every Haitian is broke, by the way. They got some rich Haitians.
You realize that our
Extremely wealthy. No, this not to diminish at all our concerns. And I'm happy that Minister Mitchell responded to it. And do we need to perhaps go further and hear from the Director of Immigration, the Minister of Immigration? Of course. It's not something that we're going to drop. This is something that we have to continue, and the government needs to stay on top of this message because, again, you all heard something that I read. People can create something that they just feel and see and then pass that around widely. So the government must stay on top of that, obviously, to help allay fears, to help address what people, how they feel, the uncertainty they feel. They must certainly stay on top of that. Meanwhile, gentlemen, as we celebrate and our own independence is nearing, a new T-shirt aimed at marking the country's 52nd independence dropped just in time for independence, and it happened this week. And two did jaws around the country. It followed suit. The issue is, it's a controversial design showing the face of the nation's first Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon Pindling, and it has set off a national debate. To some, it's disrespectful. To others, a bold tribute. But did they go too far, the originators or the creators, or is it much to do about nothing really? Tonight in an Eyewitness News exclusive, the designers behind the backlash tell their side of the story. Linton Ritchie Jr. has the story. And Justin, are you sending me to a break?
Not again. Shit, let us see something.
Controversy is erupting over a newly released Independence Day shirt,
Okay,
one
see it.
that's turning heads and sparking heated debate. The design features the image of Sir Lyndon Pindling, widely regarded as the, quote, father of the nation, but with a bold twist, gold teeth, and a Bahamian coin chain. Some say it's fire, others say it's flat out disrespectful. Eyewitness News spoke exclusively with the designers behind the piece, the owners of Show No Love clothing brand, who insist there was no ill intent.
Was not to, again, dishonor or disrespect the Right Honorable Sir Lyndon Pindling. Just wanted to merge history with today's new youth culture. That was the main thing behind it.
With the country preparing to celebrate its 52nd independence, Bahamian brands are flooding the market with patriotic merchandise. But this particular shirt quickly set social media ablaze. Reactions range from admiration to outrage. Comments read, quote, Sir Lyndon would never support this. That shirt's fire. Stay bold. While the Pindling family declined to comment, Director of Communication in the Office of the Prime Minister issued this pointed reminder to the nation's creatives.
On the side of being respectful, creativity ought to be embraced. Have some level of discretion by the creative.
Despite the backlash, SNL's co-owner and sales head, Shamal Miller, says support has been just as loud and just as passionate.
The business line, they've been ringing it, they've been texting, predicted that we are going to sell out for all the shirts.
But not everyone agrees it should be an open season on national symbols. Head of History and Philosophy at the University of the Bahamas, Associate Professor Dr. Christopher Curry, believes some imagery should remain sacred.
There's far better ways of integrating our history, making it compelling. So many different creative ways that you can engage our young people.
And for those offended, the creators have this to say.
We respect everything that he has done for the country, and we just wanted to show love in our way.
We're an amazing country. No time we're going to be at 100 years. We got to keep the generation coming in so we keep the foundation strong.
SNL says the shirt priced at $60 will remain part of their Independence collection, and it's available for purchase online. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, the creators said that they've got to keep it current. They respect and they pay tribute to Sir Lyndon, but it's just to bring it into 2025. What do my panelists have to say about that? We give our thoughts on it right after this break. This is Beyond the Headlines, Week in Review Friday. We have so much more to get to. Don't go anywhere. Back after this.
Calling all contractors, your exclusive priority access to Grand Bahama Tiles pre-independence sale begins Monday, July 7th for one day only. With personalized service, come in and enjoy all the discounts at your leisure before the crowd arrives. See you Monday, July 7th for your exclusive pre-independence sale access.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Keisha, one thing with you ain't never have no money. I just sent Miko inside Wendy's just now because Wendy's having their summer promo. Just hot cash, girl. Yes, hot cash. But anyway, we did this one right now. We trying to win this $10,000. And even if you ain't win the $10,000, you can win $2,500 every week. Even if you don't get no ride, Keisha. Anyway, Keisha, I go on Miko Reach. Bye. All you gotta do is upgrade any combo between 1 to 12 to medium or large. And they get this new spicy chicken club sandwich. But I just sent Miko inside there for from June 24th to August 1st. You ain't getting the Wendy's, that's on you. But don't ask me for no money when I win.
Win a brand new 2026 GAC MPOW every week for 5 weeks. Every 10 reward points earns you 1 digital entry. The more entries you gain, the better your chances to win. 5 weeks, 5 cars. Will you be one of our lucky winners? Catch the keys today, only at Island Luck. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so game responsibly.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
So just before the break, you saw that story there that has a lot of people up in arms for many different reasons. It is the image of Lyndon Pindling and a group of young men who have launched a business, obviously, and figure they're going to launch with some independence gear. Has Lyndon's image there with gold teeth and a diamond stud and a gold rope chain, depicting, I guess, a Lyndon who was more, I don't know, pop culture awareness, rap culture, somebody who, down with the people now. And here's what I have to say about that. You do not disrespect or even desecrate something on that level. He is the father of the nation. He presented himself always in a certain light. That is what you respect. It is nothing, you don't have to make Lyndon modern. He is timeless. He is the father of the nation's first prime minister. If you want to be creative, go and be creative with something else. There's nothing wrong with you putting Lyndon's image on your independence gear. I hope you got permission, by the way. But there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're going to go then and present the man and the image in ways that is not, that he's never presented himself, in ways that is disrespectful, then you are being disrespectful. There's nothing admirable about the business that you've launched. I saw people in some comments in that story at Linton saying fire and oh, this is bold and this is keep moving forward. I mean, when are Bahamians ever going to just, I don't know, begin to decide that they're going to be able to take certain things seriously and respect that? After all, it's a part of our institutions. When are we going to raise our standards once again to become the people who personify many of the words in the national anthem? Get back to that. Rise to that. Listen, Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough, welcome back to this segment of the show. Your thoughts on what we saw just before the break?
Well, I think it's a very telling tale as to where we are as a nation, 52 years, in terms of our independence. These are young men. First of all, let me salute them, however, first of all, for having some ambition. They're not men who are sitting on the side of the street committing heinous crimes or violent crimes. And so for that, we want to encourage you to continue to find your way. However, in this particular light, there is an issue of respect. And I've always been very strong on respect. In this particular stance, to do this to the father of the nation, Sir Lyndon, an icon, I will also take the blame with you, young man, and I'll tell you why. As a senior gentleman to you, I do believe that we have not fought hard enough to actually just raise these men and women like Sir Lyndon Pindling and A.D. Hanna and Loftus Roker and the rest of these guys, Sir Gerald Cash, Milo Butler. We should have put these people in the classroom to the level where when you hear their name, when you see an image of them, there's a reverence that goes with that.
Where we put Christopher Columbus, huh?
But we want to talk about Christopher Columbus. That's correct, Shanique Mellon. So you see, we need to make the correction
No,
at
you
this
don't.
time.
You don't also disrespect that because again, that's still a part of our history. But I'm saying what we did, we presented that aspect of our history, and we disregarded the Celindans and the all the other names you called a moment ago.
Yes, and so my thing now is that this will be a cry to the Ministry of Education and to those supporting ministries, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Affairs, that we have much work to be done. And young men, we're not trying to just chastise you, we're trying to encourage you to, you know what, I think they're right, and let's go ahead and let's see if we can improve our understanding of what it truly means to make a strong father of the nation and
what it
imagery
means to be Bahamian and aspire to more. But I'll tell you, these guys are also smart, don't dismiss them. They know controversy sells. They know controversy sells. I don't know if they expected this sort of pushback and response. However, though, they knew that guess what is going to get attention. And guys, for that, you are to be applauded. But you've got to do it right. Don't ever be on the wrong side as we continue to evolve.
But I hope they got permission, like you said, because the Pindlings,
I hope so too.
The Pindlings
they are
be hearing from
very
them.
zealous of guarding the image of their father and husband.
That's correct.
And rightly so.
That's correct. I find this act so despicable and so damning. I want to tell whoever did that. I'm not calling no young men, because young men don't have that kind of stuff in their head. I don't know what rock they came from under, but I advise them to go back under that rock. For a man who spent his whole life and gave his entire life to this country to make us who we are and what we are. None of them knew Cylinder to begin with. None of them. You speak of men, Lyndon Pindling, Carlton Francis, Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Paul Adley. These are the men who went on the front line and gave their life, their all for this country.
Yes.
And you got these little goddamn hoodlums, as far as I'm concerned, come and degrade his image with this gold teeth. What's your problem, man? What's your problem? And why would your parents, if you got any, allow you to do something so despicable? You all know what we went through before those men.
No one told them.
Came to the forefront of it.
No one took the
when
time
you couldn't
to
go
tell
to theater on Bay Street. When you couldn't go to a decent school to get an education. The men who changed the economy of this country, that persons like myself and others could go off to college and think about getting a degree and coming back here to make a contribution. This is a contribution you can make to your country. The depicting men of honor. Like drug dealers, like hoodlums. Y'all ain't got no shame, man. And I hope to God that everybody who sees that would condemn that to the highest order. And those who want to say, I want to buy a shirt, the only thing to do with your shirt is tear it up or burn it up. You all owe this country an apology now. And his family an apology now. Because you know nothing but the man and you know nothing but the sacrifice that men such as him made to our welfare. And the way we are today as a people, man, it's disgraceful. You should hang your head in shame. And I trust I don't ever have the displeasure of meeting any of y'all as a Bahamian, because I'm ashamed of y'all, man. Damn shame.
Okay, I tell you, and Leslie's response is quite right. He sat around the table with Cylinder. We all have heard, some more than others, and know it better than others about the I guess the road to majority rule. But gentlemen, see, when you know about stuff like that, you don't play games. You don't play childish games like that. Eh? This ain't a circus, so don't be clowns. And so don't make the people who have paved the way, regardless of their skin color. There are many men who came together and paved the way for this nation to be where it is right now. And you can't cheapen that. You can't.
You should put that on Columbus and them. Those who came and butchered our people. But that's the white boys, so you love them, right?
But I even say that. Columbus did what he did, but the point is, he played a role in the history of this nation somehow. Don't even demean or deface that. Let's just move on. There's no need to deface anyone who played a role. But listen, gentlemen, we're going to shift gears now because this here is quite interesting.
Please.
Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Fred Mitchell, is firing off a strong warning after being targeted in what he calls malicious AI-generated attacks. The digital fabrication features an image and voice clone of Mitchell, falsely implicating him in a statement on the LGBTQ+ community and equality in the Bahamas. Mitchell told reporters he suspects it's political operatives on the opposing side and that they may be behind the deep fake. And he's not holding back.
It's just lies. It's not my voice. The content of it is completely untrue and false. And to say that somebody has a gay agenda, I said, well, the FNM and the COI don't want me to call the names of those people who are suspects in that direction. If they want to go in that direction, I'm quite prepared to do so. Leader of the opposition spoke to me today, say it ain't him. It ain't him. Well, fine. But what I'm saying is the people who benefit from it can only be the FNM or COI. And they've not done anything to publicly disassociate themselves with this kind of disinformation. And so we have to call it out where it is.
Minister Mitchell, Leslie and Garth even responded that way. We know where we stand as a nation in terms of every Bahamian has the right by the Constitution to be respected and the rights that come with being a citizen of this nation. But to go and say, listen, the man is pushing LGBTQ rights, then that's a whole different kettle of fish. And he feels it's political mischief. He also says it's AI generated and it obviously is continued. I have not seen or heard any of it, but this is now the second time where he has responded this week alone and is talking about it. And he is saying, listen, if you all want to go in that direction, what Fred Mitchell will do is start calling names. Well, here's who in the dark of night be doing whatever they're doing. I tell you, that right there was the hardest slap up ever. But notice he also said, Michael Pintard, leader of the Free National Movement, said, Fred, before you start opening your mouth, what Michael Pintard did not do is have anything to do with that. But gentlemen, your thoughts about the fact that that political seasons always bring with them something extra. But this political season, with the assistance of like AI and so many other things that can have you tripping out because you're wondering truly if this is the person you hear speaking or seeing even, that is now a factor.
This is an old conversation, Shanique Miller, by the way. This actually started circulating while Kamala Harris was still in the White House. And it's now stemmed now to our political season to where all of the old conversations that had some type of faction or some type of grip, they're now coming back to the surface. People are saying, you know what? Because that had traction back then, maybe we need to try it again.
Oh, what you're saying those voice notes were happening since the U.S.
You were in the heat of it. You were on the show with
I was going
else.
hard at it. Believe me, I was going hard at it, but I never heard the voice notes.
Yeah, the vice president was coming here.
Just when she was here and she talked foolishness, but she is here for your benefit.
Everyone was circulating here and saying that they were pushing this agenda.
Okay.
So now we're in political season.
Let me see where she is.
The traction moment now is that we have to throw everything against the wall to see what sticks. Does immigration stick? Yes or no. If it doesn't stick, then we go on to the next thing. If it isn't immigration, it got to be the economy. If it's not the economy, it got to be Grand Bahama. If it's not Grand Bahama, it got to be, gay rights in the country.
But do you think? But okay. Speaking of then throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks, do you really think in the Bahamas that would stick?
No, it wouldn't stick. No, but like I said, right now, nothing right now is sticking. Nothing is sticking. What the Bahamian people want right now. If you're going to complain about the governance at present, and people always say, oh, y'all must be PLP, you must be FNM, you must be COI. Listen to me. What the Bahamian people now look for is a plan. Yeah. We don't want to hear anything with your idea. We don't want no ideas. Yeah, we don't want no more scenarios. What we are looking for is a plan. It's because we're becoming more intelligent as a people. With the global society and watching what is happening in America, we do not want that to happen to our country. And so now we are very observant. They're watching everything. And politicians can no longer hide behind the cloaks of being important and sitting in the House of Assembly. You now have to get on the ground, get in people's homes, do your homework because we're going to demand more from you. And so right now to go ahead and strike at Fred Mitchell, which I think is a very cheap shot, this has nothing to do with governance. This has nothing to do with our country in terms of moving forward. I say it's trash and it's trash talk, and you just need to throw it away.
Just like those despicables who try to defame the great name of Lyndon Oscar Pindling, a man, in my opinion, who God has blessed us with one of the greatest Bahamians that God ever put breath in. Mr. Fred Mitchell, in his capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs, has represented our country to the best of his ability, and I think make every Bahamian proud. I'm certainly proud when he's on the international stage representing us. A brilliant orator, a brilliant human being. The only person I can think compares with him, and was on another level, would have been the Honorable Paul Adley. He defend our country to the tilt. You know, it's just like what happened early in the week when this guy who's going to run against Mr. Mitchell claimed that his place was broken into. It was political. Then you see this stuff on WhatsApp and thing. This guy stating that what happened between them and who lighted struck a fire and who burned up his clothes. You have to be careful with these things, man. Bahamians have got to a level now that most of us don't even think of stooping to. Just intimidate and try to defame a person's character. It is wrong.
Well, we have all agreed.
It is wrong.
Said on the show it's the silly season. I have not heard about the clothing bit.
Yes.
But of course,
I saw it yesterday.
You were speaking about Dr. Fox.
Yes.
Dr. Fox, his establishment
and his man is out there.
was vandalized.
Yes.
And so he spoke to it, and he feels
but it wasn't political. This fellow's claiming.
No, this is how he feels.
Yes.
He feels it was politically motivated. Well, I'll tell you this. This week, later in the week, which was in last night's news, Mitchell did respond to it. He pushed back against those claims of political intimidation following the break-in and act of vandalism at the medical office of the F&M's candidate, Dr. Nicholas Fox. Mitchell called the allegation irresponsible, denying any involvement.
Yes.
He left this message for his political rival.
This is quite extraordinary for a neophyte to come and say this. He's accused. Who's he accusing? People in Foxhill from breaking in his office? That's what he's accusing? Is he accusing the PLP of breaking in his office? When you open your mouth, you have to have evidence of what you're talking about. Where is the evidence? Why would you say that you had $2,000 in cash in your medical office? Well, you mean so people could come and break into it again because they figure cash is there? To tell people that doctors' offices have cash, so you're putting other doctors at risk by spreading this kind of information, is just totally irresponsible, particularly in a situation where the evidence does not support it. And that's my take on this. You have to be responsible as a public figure.
Well, there you have it. It's even. It's even. I don't want to have any opinion on it. Of course, Dr. Fox, he was vandalized. He spoke about it. We had it in the news this week. Also on the show, Minister Mitchell has come, and also Member of Parliament for Foxhill has come on just now, as you saw. He was in last night's news, and tonight we decided, of course, this is Week in Review, and so we decided that we would present his response. After all, it was being claimed that, listen, this is politically motivated, and so he gave him a fair opportunity to respond. Gentlemen, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to shine the light on the PLP, because what they did say as well this week is that, listen, the candidates committee will meet very soon to determine who will get the nod and who will be told to step aside. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
Bahamas, come celebrate our 52nd independence at the Family Fun Day, July 10th at Clifford Park. It's a great afternoon of food, fun, culture, entertainment, national pride. Gates open at 4 p.m., concert time 6 p.m. 52nd Independence Family Fun Day at Clifford Park. Bring the whole family. Admissions free. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
I'm proud to be a Bahamian. I'm proud to be a Bahamian.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. The Progressive Liberal Party shifting into election mode with its candidate committee set to meet in the coming days to decide who will carry the party's banner into the next general election. The closed-door sessions will determine which political hopefuls or incumbents will make the final slate as the PLP looks to lock in its lineup and secure another term in office. We're going to get the story from Linton Ritchie Jr. and then we're going to come back and give some thoughts.
The candidate selection committee of the Progressive Liberal Party is set to meet later this month or early August, according to party chairman Fred Mitchell, to discuss which faces will carry the PLP banner into the upcoming general election. With the Free National Movement already rolling out their first slate of candidates, many believe they have gotten a head start. But Mitchell emphasized that the PLP has already been doing the work.
We have people who are there. Unless there's something to the contrary, the incumbent has the first bite at the cherry.
But questions still remain over who will represent constituencies like Mycal, Fort Charlotte, and North Eleuthera, as sitting MPs Basil McIntosh, Alfred Sayers, and Sylvanus Petty have confirmed they will not seek re-election. Mitchell says political hopefuls are already on the ground in those areas, and screenings will begin in the coming weeks.
Fort Charlotte, another 4 or 5 people. North Eleuthera, there are 3 or 4 people. Mycal, there are now 4 or 5 people.
4 current members of parliament who have publicly declared their intent to run again, the chairman says their papers are in, and here's what happens next.
Everyone has to do the course that trains you for public life. Candidates committee reviews your record. There's been an assessment of all constituencies, and then at the end of the day, recommendation made to the National General Council.
With candidate selection set to kick off soon, both Prime Minister Philip Davis and party chairman Mitchell remain tight-lipped on when the official candidate roster will be released. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, of course, you all saw that. Listen, the PLP, I think they're already in election gear, but listen, they're obviously trying to trim the fat, as my panelists like to say, and get really lean and mean. We have seen the Free National Movement already revealed 17 of its candidates. The Coalition of Independents, I think, has revealed maybe all of them, maybe with 1 or 2 others just to add to that. But the PLP, now I feel as though a lot of the incumbents, so maybe this is because we discussed this earlier this week, why it's no rush for them to really put out there, because they have incumbents. Yes. Incumbents, many of whom who are impressive just by looking at things. But you know what? Let's just play games tonight. Let's talk about some of the incumbents. So, or if we wanna do it like this, who has been performing, or maybe some of the weak links of the party. But let's just talk about exactly who looks good, where they are, and maybe how they've been performing. And gentlemen, I'll tell you this, I'm excited about a segment next week that I have with just men who are talking just this, and men who, I don't know where their leanings are. I want to get them from around the country and have that discussion. But let's pick up this evening. You all heard the Progressive Liberal Party is now about to go behind closed doors and determine who they will take into 2026 general election. Your thoughts on how that needs to look?
Shanique, this conversation is one that's going to take a whole show, maybe a week, for us to even begin and get to the bottom too. However, I'd like to say congratulations once again to the Free National Movement in the selection of your 17 candidates. Now, what that did for me, though, is that it showed me the strength of the first 17 versus those people who are now sitting in the House of Assembly for the Progressive Liberal Party. I would say that maybe 3 or 4 of those selected for the Free National Movement will give a good contest to the Progressive Liberal Party. Only 3 or 4. 3 or 4 with those that are now sitting in the House of Assembly, you're up to maybe 9. In order to be the government, you need to have a safe 21, I would say, in order to feel comfortable as the government of the Bahamas. So right now, the Free National Movement is still failing to bring the proper candidates to the front line that are strong and that could possibly win in any of the particular seats. Like I said, it's only a contest. It's not a assured victory for any of the 17 that they have selected. Even some of them, I would say flat out, you're definitely going to lose. And so I would say with the Progressive Liberal Party, there's no pressure. There's no pressure this time.
There's no pressure.
There's no pressure this time to bring out anybody until the Free National Movement has stepped up its game. You have to bring a strong game. You cannot be seen running from your constituency. For me personally, let me tell you what I'm looking for, Shanique Miller and Leslie Miller, and those people who are listening tonight. I want to know, Shanique, please forgive me, but I want to know, and this is all that I'm waiting for, where is Dr. Dwayne Sands going to run? That's what I want to know, because I met the little 5-foot lady.
Leslie, you don't know that for Southern Shores. How
Listen
do you know
to me.
what the FNM
Listen. I met the lady. She's about 5 foot tall, maybe a little bit taller.
Which lady?
Madam JoBeth Colby Davis. I met her in the studio one night, right? And she is extremely strong and personable.
Cannot be beaten up there.
And so listen to what I'm saying to you. I also saw Leslie Miller, where she sent out a challenge to him that if you feel you big and you bad...
When she sent this out, Garth?
Man, listen, this was just before, maybe about a year ago or two, but he said he's going back into Elizabeth. He said that, and he said he's coming for his things. This is about a year ago, I'm telling you this. And she said, well, if he think he bad, she was at one of the branch meetings in Elizabeth. I said, you know, if you think he bad, tell him to come back in here. And they were celebrating and everyone is at the PLP meeting. You know how PLPs do it. Yes. And so this was the battle of the battles for me. I don't want to see no other battle. I don't care what happens to Pintard, what happened with Brave. I want to see what happened to Dr. Dwayne Sands, because I want to see if a big bad man like Dr. Sands.
Dr. Dwayne Sands is the chairman, and he has not been nominated as yet.
Yes.
You said
yes.
The Free National Movement has 3 to 4 strong
maybe, yes.
contenders.
Yes. I like Ellsworth Johnson.
So let's get back to the PLP.
Okay,
because I don't want. Let's be fair when we're discussing these.
Oh Lord, let's see they go with his glasses. Go ahead.
Okay. So Ellsworth Johnson and Zane Lightborn. Boy, I have family.
Okay, that's a matchup. I like that. I like that.
Okay, so let's talk about
good matchup.
How the two look. And who looks
we
strong?
Can't say yet.
And who
can't say yet.
You can't say who looks
I just want to say
stronger?
that's a good matchup. That was a good matchup. I just want to leave it at that. I like both gentlemen, but that's a good matchup. That's where I sit. That's my opinion.
Leslie, your thoughts. Ellsworth Johnson against Zane Lightborn. Zane Lightborn PLP, Ellsworth FNM.
Well, you know, Johnson was the MP for the area, and Mr. Lightborn had an opportunity to go up against him, and he won. But remember, 65,000 people didn't vote.
Okay.
In politics, I take nothing for granted.
Thank you.
The process as far as candidates in the PLP is a process I've been through, 6 times.
Okay.
You know, you go to the panel, they ask first, the first thing they ask you, why do you think you should be nominated again? I said, because I did my job. That's why I think. You know, it's just a process that they go through. Most of the candidates, most of the MPs, sitting MPs, will definitely get their nomination again with little or no problem.
Okay.
There are a few of them who, you know, fell by the wayside and people are not pleased with them.
Who are the few? I see your.
Let me
tell you, when you see me call out the FNM on this show, I need also to call out the PLP. You said, Leslie, let's take the lead from Garth. Garth says the FNM has 3 to 4 strong, good-looking contenders. I want to hear. We already talked about Ellsworth in Yamakoro.
Yeah.
Who is another one, so we can compare that person to the sitting MP?
In the Free National Movement?
Yes, that was just ratified.
I would say Kwesi Thompson may get back. I go with Kwesi.
He's a good man in Grand Bahama.
Who's he going against?
I go with East Grand Bahama.
So
I said the matchup in West Grand Bahama and Bimini, I think that's a good fight. See, I'm
that's
looking
a
for
good fight because the Isaacs gentleman.
I'm not going to play God and try to tell who's going to win those fights. Now,
No, I don't want you to. All I want you to say, point out who you think.
Okay, now watch this. Watch this, Shirley. This is where I get in trouble and people start looking for me. That's why I go straight home every night.
Okay, go.
Go to Mount Moriah the first thing when you open your mouth, we want to know where the 17 million is. I mean, we don't hear nothing else from you. No Bahamian wants anything else from you.
Drones.
Yeah, the drones, for the drones. We want to, at least show me the drone. That's all. I'm just simply saying it ain't hard. But you see what I'm saying to you.
So is that a good matchup, or what are you saying about that matchup?
Oh man, that's a giveaway. They have to just give away Mount Moriah. This is what I'm trying to say to you. It has to be sensible for me. Now, if he wins by way of a miracle and prayer and fasting or some other means, oh, by all means, God bless you, my friend. But right now, as I look at the political science of what was done, you're in the lost column. And I'm just being straight with you. For instance, okay, let me flip it for you again. Let's go to South Andrews. Whether you like Mr. Lundy or not, who's going to win South Andrews, Mr. Miller?
Did the FNM?
They don't have to send nobody. They could send. I almost called the wrong name just now. They could send Moses down there to part the Red Sea. Tell me, Mr. Miller, who more than likely will win South Andrews? PLP or FNM?
Lundy would take South Andrews. No,
it don't matter if it's Lundy, Picewell, Goss, Leslie, Shanique. Once you PLP, you in. That's South Andrews. This is political science. You got to know where you're going and know what you're going to get. When you go to Long Island.
Okay, I have a good one.
Okay, go.
North Andrews. Leonardo Lightbourne versus Carlton Bowleg.
I feel right now, I was thinking that I don't really know Mr. Lightbourne myself, but I'm saying, because I didn't know, I couldn't say anything. But when I saw the FNM candidate for North Andrews, I give it back to the PLP.
I mean, what I've heard from the statements he made and the foul language.
And I ain't even worried about all of that. I'm just looking at the fact that right now, we are looking at the PLP right now in full motion, and the FNM has not answered that full motion as yet. Therefore, I'm giving the wave to Brave. I mean, that's just as simple as that. If you want to disrupt the wave, you got to come with a tidal wave or a tsunami. Bring your tsunami. I've been crying for the tsunami with you, Shanique Miller, for the last 3 years. I've been crying. I'm next to crying blood, the color of your party, and you ain't bring no fire yet. We still waiting. And I'm saying to you, you're found wanting, and it's not impressive at this time.
The biggest problem is leadership.
I don't like how Mr. Mitchell talk about y'all, but he's a buggy of rejects. I wouldn't want to talk about good being people like that. But the truth be told is that he's simply saying to you, in other words, you're just not ready.
When you compare Philip Brave Davis with the opposition, I think Mr. Davis will win hands down. From people I've talked to, and that's through New Providence on some of the family islands. They're just two different personalities. One is a loving, kind person who people could appreciate and really get to know and get to love. The other one, if you look at his track record, what he's done with Dr. Minnis and my good buddy there, Minister Wicks, who's just on this show on Wednesday. It's a telling tale that if those two men couldn't go up and become candidates, who were the Prime Minister, Desmond Bannister, the Deputy Prime Minister, what happens to the average, ordinary Bahamian?
Silly stuff.
What happened to the average, ordinary Bahamian?
Shouldn't you want some sweet juice? You want some good juice before we go?
I do, yeah.
I sat on your show and I told you this. I said, Cornish is going to walk. Remember that conversation?
I think you did, yes.
Remember I said to you, we never hear what happened to Lanisha Roll. Remember that lady? Anyone remember her from Zebrace?
Yes, I did.
We ain't hear nothing yet.
No. Yes.
God doesn't lie. I'm talking about the science of politics.
But maybe she was vindicated.
And we don't know. We don't know. I said we will not know. You see, so I operate on science. People say, oh, you must see PLBF and them, this and that and that. Listen to me. Before there was a COI, there was the People's National Coalition. That was myself, the leader. That was my thing, the smart party they called us. The smart party who didn't have no money. I went to the DNA leader, Mr. Nesbitt, who I saw on this show, saying that they're not going to contest this election. Did I not meet with Mr. Nesbitt in Super Value and Prince Charles and tell him, boss man, fold up or join someone else?
And he did that.
Now he waited 3 years later to do this. I'm not operating on emotions here, people.
Doing that. He's standing down.
He's standing down.
He said they are not contesting.
But back then, Mr. Nesbitt told me that they had their money, they're bringing out 39 candidates, they're going to win the next election. Listen, third-party people, stop your nonsense. COI, stop your nonsense. If you know you don't have it, you stand down. Stop throwing assertions.
They have a little money. They
say they have a little bit of money. You don't need a little. Nesbitt told you bring 10 million or more. Did he not say that? That came out of his mouth. And if you don't know, you're going to find out, because these people, they waiting on you. Yeah, I support you until you knock on that door. What you got? And if you don't have it, you have no vote.
Listen to me.
I'm just being real, Shanique. I'm sorry.
I listen. All I need is real on this show. I need real and I need honest and I need right, straight, smack dab in the middle opinions.
You see why they better have some money. And I know they don't have it. You know why? You all open up one national headquarters and you're celebrating. We need to see 39 from you. Because if you cannot open a constituency headquarters, how the hell are you going to run a country? You got to have 39 constituency offices running properly, impressing the community, meeting the needs of the community, putting plans and actions, bringing results for you to go into the election and say, you know what, we're going to be victorious. This ain't about no 100,000. This is about common sense.
And when I said last week that they probably got to open their headquarters in the Grove, I meant the White Grove out there, because that guy, most of the time when people raise hell about moving somebody to their place, the fella goes in the Grove and the White Grove. So
you really firing tonight.
You know, so I just want to.
I don't even catch that.
I catch it, Shaniqua. It was good to be here.
Whatever that is went so over my head. I don't even. I could just get. I could get some hard liquor drink right now because I don't know. I have no idea.
So you know, I never hit my
enjoy being here. You all have a great weekend. And happy 4th again to everybody.
I don't know what
as you said.
All I know, you bet me. I know what you're saying, but I tell you, you bet me. You bring that money. You bring that money. I was a little slow.
I got the money. I got your money put aside.
Just now, I was a little slow just now, y'all. Listen, you don't ever lose the host like that because
they're gonna get over 2,000.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
You don't.
I thank you all so much. By the way, Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough, thank you all so much. We hung out all this show. Of course, we had some good new top stories, and then of course we revisited as we do on Weekend Review Fridays. And I hope that you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for always watching, always giving us your comments, and always supporting and enjoying the show. I thank you for tuning in this week, and we look forward to seeing you right back here next week. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shaniqua Miller. Make it a blessed weekend, everyone.